Hello, welcome to this channel. My name is Janet. I'm working through the King James's Bible. I'm in the book of Kings today, the first book, working through chapters 3 to 5. So I'm giving quick summaries of each chapter today. So let's get started. Now, just to give a quick recap from yesterday's video, where we saw that King David now has passed away and he's got his son who's taken over the role, King Solomon. And he started with a bang. He started to clean out the people who had done wrong. They were put to death, some were put to exile as he starts his reign as the new king. So in chapter 3, we start seeing that King Solomon has really good relations now with the king of Egypt. And this is the first time that we've heard of Egypt since the Israelites fled and left, because remember, they were slaves at one point and it was God who came in with Moses to lead them out of that land. So now we hear the relations becoming good between Solomon and Pharaoh, so much so that he marries one of Pharaoh's daughters and she comes to live with him in the city of David. Now Solomon has become so devoted to the Lord. He's following in his father's footsteps, listening to the Lord, following his statutes, his commandments, as his father said to him before he passed away. The only issue that he does have is that he is making sacrifices in high places because he doesn't have a home for the Lord. He doesn't have that building that they need, really. So he's doing his sacrifices and incense burning in high places. We next hear that God comes to Solomon in a dream and he asks him, "What do you want?" And Solomon's one request is he wants the wisdom to be able to rule over the people of Israel. What a beautiful request. And God sees it as just that, so much so that because he has not requested anything for himself personally, God is then going to gift him with wealth, with honor, and with the ability to judge with discernment. So Solomon then wakes up knowing he has had a connection with the Lord. He then is given a test. Now, two women approach him, and it says they're two harlots, and they've both had a child at the same time. Now, one woman is saying to the king, "Look, I had my child in my arms, and when I woke the next morning, I had a dead child in my arms." Now, the woman next to me, she accidentally rolled over and slept on her child, killed them, and what she's done in the night is she swapped them over and she's given me her child and taken mine. Now, the other woman disagrees. "No, this is my child. This is my child." That is a complete lie. So the king is left with this predicament on how to decide. And with his wisdom from God, he says, "Okay, bring me a sword and we'll cut the child in half and you can both have half a child each." Now the woman holding the child agrees. She sort of sees that as a good thing, whereas the other woman, who doesn't have the child, she says, "No, it's her child, let her have it." That straight away makes the king see who is the real mother, and he says, "Okay, do not chop this child in half, give the child to the other woman, for that is her child." Now the people of Israel hear about the king's judgment on this, and they really have a newfound respect for him, for his wisdom coming via God. And this closes chapter 3. So in chapter 4, this one details all of Solomon's officials. Now it's really getting into details now about who is doing which role. So I'll give you the roles. If you want to find out who the people are specifically, check out the link under this video for chapter 4. So just to note, Solomon now rules over all of Israel and all of his chief officials. He's got a huge responsibility now as a new king, really, coming from his father. So the first part, as I said, details all the names, and the roles are, he has his chief officials, including 2 secretaries. He's got the recorder, a commander-in-chief, 2 priests, and a person in charge of the district of the governor. We also have the palace admin and one to take care of forced labour. And they all ran the kingdom of Solomon. We then move into the land, the districts. So we had 12 districts because obviously there are 12 tribes. And he had specific people take care of each district, much like what we have today with our governments. And they are to govern and ensure the resources are given each month to each district. And this kept all of the Israelites happy, because the Israelites were catered for, they were given security and resources. So yeah, happy people, happy days. Now, this gift of wisdom Solomon has, you can see what a gift it is, because he becomes known throughout the land for his wisdom. People want to come and see him and hear what he has to say. Even kings send their people to see him, to hear what he has to say, because his wisdom has become so wonderful throughout the land. He gave 3,000 proverbs and he sang 1,005 songs. So it's no wonder people came to hear him. And this closes chapter 4. Now in chapter 5, as we heard at the beginning, chapter 3, the Lord had no temple, right? Well, in chapter 5, this is all about preparing just that, a temple for the Lord. So we begin with King Hiram from Tyre. Now he had wonderful relations with his father David. So Solomon decides he's going to connect with him and he's going to ask him to help him build this temple for the Lord, because he has many skilled men who he wants to hire, and they also have the trees that he needs. They need cedar trees and juniper logs. So he puts this to King Hiram: will you help me build this temple? I will pay you for your time and for your men. Just tell me what you want and let's get this done. So they go back and forth and there is an agreement made between the two. The terms are all ironed out nicely, and then the men set to work. So he ends up providing food for the royal household and wages for the men, and we have a total of 30,000 men that come to Lebanon to basically cut all this wood and prepare the stones ready to get this temple built. And this closes our final chapter for today. So we've gone from King Solomon really building this foundation as king. He's getting stronger and stronger. He's got a wonderful administration system in place. He has the people on side because they're happy. He's growing with resources and he's wise as well. I mean, wisdom, we can see, is such a great thing to have. So I hope this has been informative for you, and I will be back again soon with more chapters within the book of Kings. See you soon. Bye.